Here now is Lisa Bell and Candace Campos with Florida Foodie. Sponsored by Light Orlando, delivering hope together.
Hello and welcome back to Florida Foodie. I'm Lisa Bell.
And I'm Candace Campos. Today we are sitting down with a Brevard native. We always love when they're born, raised in here, raising their families as well. But in 2020, when a lot of people were kind of just sheltering in place, she decided to start her own business.
Pretty bold move.
Yeah.
And we are so happy to be joined today by Q Breadwood, the owner of Q's Crackin Crab restaurant. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
We have heard fantastic things about your restaurant, the best seafood around, we hear. Tell us a little bit about your background. Obviously, you're from Central Florida, but how'd you get started cooking and owning a restaurant?
I feel like it's just been something that I've always liked to do. I'm the oldest of 27 grandkids, so I've always cooked. I was always like helping my mom and stuff like that. And I never thought of it as a business, just something to do, and I kind of just fell in it. Honestly, literally, it started off as a hobby. I was doing like game nights at my house, and I would tell people, okay, you bring the seafood, I'll do the food. And then I realized not everybody's enjoying it. And so I did like a pop-up one time, and I started selling plates, and I made a lot of money. And I was like,
This is a good idea.
yeah. And so I just started doing that. And then I got the opportunity to have my own spot a few years ago. I did that for a year. Then I started doing catering. And I wanted to give it another try since I had that experience. And I met my husband throughout that time. And he was like, let's do it. And we opened up Q's March 13, 2020 is when we signed our lease.
Wow. And that was Friday the 13th, the day that the whole world started shutting down.
Imagine, like, isn't that crazy? You know?
Yes.
That is kind of crazy.
Did you think about it at that time? Oh, it's
Yeah.
Friday the 13th. You know, we've been hearing this kind of stuff in the news. Maybe
It was
wait.
weird because honestly, we found the building at the end of January, and then we were negotiating our lease from January to February, and we were watching our friend who was in China as a teacher and talking about this pandemic.
You're like, that's crazy.
And I was
people
like,
over
that's
there.
crazy. Exactly. I was like, that's not going to happen,
Right.
you know, and surely it came right over to us. And we signed our lease, and then a week later, all the restaurants closed. And I was like, what did we just do? The money's already spent. We negotiated 4 months of free rent. So let's just watch out and look at everything, but we don't have to open right away. Let's wait a few months. And we waited till 4th of July weekend, and everybody was ready to get out of the house at that time. And we opened, and it was fine.
And what a great location. Let's just talk about that. I mean, you're nestled between, I mean, you got the pier right there. I mean, could you have picked a better spot?
I know. The crazy thing is there was a bagel shop before, and they weren't really using it, the whole space. It's perfect. It's like right in the middle of 528 and 520, you know, on A1A. So we're right in the middle of everything.
Yes.
We get a lot of cruise people because we're like less than 5 minutes from the world's largest port. So.
And when you're at the ocean, you want to eat seafood, right?
Absolutely.
So tell us about your specialties.
So I think what makes us stand out is like our seafood rice and our macaroni and cheese. So we throw in a little, that's why I call it soulful seafood, because it's like I throw in our soul food, but it's like our still Florida style seafood with the garlic butter and the Cajun seasoning and stuff like that.
So since you've opened this restaurant, your first brick and mortar location, what has the reception been like in the community? Obviously, we know you're extremely popular, but what's that been like for you to see that?
It's still like, you know, it feels weird living in the dream that you had once, you know, and now having, you know, you're in it. So it's great, but it's a lot of pressure sometimes, you know, because it's like an artist having that first one good like record, and you like, we want multiple locations, but I feel like we have to manage everybody's expectation that everything may not be the same as this one. You know, it's gonna be as much as the same, but you have those issues.
I mean, you balance, you have a very good way of balancing a lot of things. You guys are in the community. You have your own restaurant. Oh, and you also have how many children?
7 total.
7 total.
7
Yeah.
children, and that in and of itself is a lot to manage.
That's a double full-time job.
And mind you, they range in age from almost 1 to 19.
Yeah, so we have 4 at home. The girls, it's always busy. Like
It's all
Yes,
girls.
7 girls,
Yeah.
by
Yes.
the way.
Yeah, so I stay at home during a week with 2 of them. Then my 14-year-old is in high school. My 19-year-old is in college. She's a manager at the restaurant. She works on the weekends.
Oh, great.
We like to hire like a lot of the young high school and college students, so we can give them their first shot of employment and stuff like that. I hire a lot of my friends' kids, or the community kids that go to the high schools that I went to and stuff like that.
How is it, having your own restaurant, seeing your family, involved in business as well, but also keeping it all in Brevard County? I mean, how is that kind of full circle moment?
I think it's a beautiful thing. Like for me, I moved a lot growing up, so I went to 3 different high schools. So I have relationships at like Cocoa High, Rockledge High, and I graduated from Satellite High.
Oh yeah, you're jumping around.
Like yeah.
You know everyone.
So I know everyone, and then I come from a family of like entrepreneurs. Like my dad was an entrepreneur. My mom had multiple salons. It was something that was ingrained with me.
Yes.
I worked as a hostess, bartender, server, so I knew the front of the house. So when opening up, I knew how it's supposed to look.
Yes.
And I probably didn't have the full back of the house experience. I'm like, I know I need a stove.
Step 1,
Yeah.
stove, check.
Food.
So it was a growing process. Like, oh my God, I remember when we first opened, I didn't realize how much storage we needed. So we kept selling out because, if you're going to buy a lot of food, but if you don't have a lot of storage. So, and in the middle of the pandemic, I think deep freezers was really hard to find.
Right, because everyone was stocking up.
Yeah, so,
Right.
oh my gosh, I was calling like every Lowe's, every place. As soon as we would get one, we would go and I would rent a pickup truck and we would put it on the back of the truck and bring it. Like, we're crazy like that. Like, we really are.
But you have to do a lot of that in order to succeed,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, you can't wait on anybody to do it for you. There's no Superman coming.
Our chat continues next with the chef behind one of Space Coast's newest and most successful seafood restaurants, and the funny story of how she met her husband.
I would start tagging him in my pictures, and he's like, let me just go up to this restaurant.
Yeah,
I love that.
that is awesome.
Look what I can make.
More Florida Foodie just ahead. You're back with Florida Foodie featuring Cube Redwood. Now we get the story of how she began serving up fried lobster tail and crab fries to tourists and locals alike. So let's jump back in with Q's Crackin Crab.
Having your history with a family of entrepreneurs, like you were saying,
Yeah.
is really helpful because when you were describing, trying to hire people and you have 10 employees, that seems daunting. All the different things. And we talked to so many people who, I love to cook, so I wanted to open a restaurant. But there's a lot of other stuff that goes into it.
Oh my gosh, there's so many different things, like from payroll to taxes to personalities, people like, you have employees that really like...
Especially when they're family or friends.
family or friends. And then, young, impressionable kids is what I call them, they, a lot of time they don't have the experience and, they don't know how to deal with adversity of tough situations. So we're teaching them a lot. My husband played football, and so he has that structure. So we have a lot of football players that work with us. So
Nice.
we act like we're coaching them a lot of times and stuff like that.
That's amazing.
Do you have the cruise ship schedule down so when
Here
all
they
of a
come.
sudden...
Oh yeah,
All in their hats and their flip-flops.
Yeah.
Here they
I live
come.
on Merritt Island, so when I drive into work, I pass the port every day, and so I literally count the ships. I'm like, 4 ships, okay, this is gonna be how it is. 5 or 6 or 7, oh my gosh, it's gonna be crazy.
And I feel like they keep adding more cruise
I
ships
know.
every day.
Yes,
It's like,
and launches.
Oh yeah, the launches, all of that. So we also think that Q's has become like tourist trap almost, and that is way bigger than me now, which is funny. Like
That's good.
Yeah, it's what
Yeah.
you want, you know.
Yeah.
Like I don't even wear a name tag or anything. Like sometimes they recognize me with.
Do they ask for your autograph?
Oh, they ask for my picture, not autograph. They always want pictures.
What
for
is
sure.
that like when?
After this
Yeah.
they'll need your autograph.
Yeah. No, it's fun. It's cool. I love talking to the customers. I love hearing their stories, how far they driven to come, why they came. We've had a lady that drove 4 hours because it's her daughters chose to come there after heart surgery. We've had people drove like 8 hours because they were stationed in Patrick and used to come to us every day, and then they wanted to come back to visit.
Oh, nice.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Because we only have 50 seats.
Okay.
But like we'll get a party of 40, 45.
Yeah. But that can help. I mean, because we have talked to other restaurant owners, namely John Rivers, who, when he started out, had a very small location in Winter Park. As a result, there was always a line out the door, and it created a lot of buzz.
Yeah.
Why is everyone always there at that line?
And they pull up before we open, they line up, and it's fun. It's
Waiting
like,
for their spot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We love it.
Now, what are your hours?
So we're open Wednesday through Sunday. At first, it took a lot of time for people to get used to that. We're closed on Monday and Tuesday. I did that because I wanted to balance our family life. Like, I think that maybe for some people, opening 7 days a week worked for them. But, like, for us, I want to have some type of life balance so that after we get off work on Sunday at 6, we can take a vacation and come back Wednesday.
Nice. That's
see?
smart.
That is why you are as successful as you are, because you know how to plan out your weekends.
Yes.
So how would you describe your growth over those 3 years?
It's been cool because, there's different parts. We had the pandemic part, and then we had the newness, and then like the growing stage. So I don't know. I feel like the next 3 years, we have already solidified who we are, and it's just growing our brand and figuring out which other locations we want to be at.
Oh, so another location. Do we have an idea yet of where you want to go? Do you want to keep it in Brevard? Do you want to go somewhere else?
We have so many Orlando customers. Like, like I would say maybe like 30-40% that are from Orlando. It's huge. Probably more than that. We do want to one day go to Orlando. Vieira is a hot spot for us.
There's so much shopping there.
I know. So like we're looking at
It's
Palm
dangerous.
Bay.
Yeah.
So we have people that come from St. Cloud, Kissimmee, Lakeland.
And you've also received a lot of awards.
Yeah.
Tell us about those
A little
awards.
cherry on top, shall we? Yeah.
So last year I received the Entrepreneur of the Year award and from Space Coast Black Chamber, and also the New Startup Business of the Year.
Congrats.
I'm probably forgetting some. It's been a amazing thing. I think my 4-year-old may be the business one. Our 14-year-old loves to cook. The older ones, it's funny because I have the young and the older set. So the older ones are like, man, the girls are growing up different than we did.
Yeah.
Because,
Yes.
we were there when you were grinding, and now they're reaping the reward.
So what were you doing before you started that pop-up? And what year did you start that little pop-up when you...
When I started cooking, that was back in 2016.
Okay.
So
Still relatively new. I mean, within 7 years, you go from your first pop-up
yeah, so
to
I
where you are today.
I was doing pharmacy. Like I thought I wanted to be a pharmacist.
Yeah.
I was a pharmacy tech. I did oncology. I did I think about being an attorney, business law. And commercial real estate.
Girl.
I don't turn off. I really don't.
I mean, you did just tell us, though, right before we started taping, you're also becoming a professional dancer.
Oh, yeah. So I just signed up to be a celebrity dancing for the Space Coast in Brevard. So I'm learning ballroom dancing. I'm learning the Foxtrot dance right now. So I just turned 40 and I was like, okay, I want to step outside. I'm pretty shy. I know you won't believe it, but I am. And so I wanted to do something. I wanted to do something different and, outside of my bubble. And I'm excited to, go out and learn how to do something new and prove it to myself.
You talked a little bit about mentoring some of your employees and other people in the community. And we obviously meet so many people who have huge dreams of running a business and a restaurant. What would you tell them is your, prime ingredient in your recipe for success?
I say, like, just believing in yourself. I know it sounds cliche. I remember being so afraid to, like, step out on faith, and I feel like God had to just push me out, And once that happened, like, it's not going to be easy. Like, I think that people think owning your own business is easy because you're doing what you love. No, it's hard.
Yeah.
But it's worth it because you're doing what you love, So.
And there's a lot of fear in that too. I mean, you have invested a lot of money that it's kind of a big gamble.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
And so you deal with anxiety and stuff like that. That's something that I'm always like, I'm learning to push past because I'm an overthinker. I'm like, oh my gosh, did I do this right? Or this is going to happen if I do this? What if they don't do this? But having my baby just recently forced me to be pushed out of the everyday situation.
Yeah. Like you said, sometimes God's the one also kind of guiding you in and out.
And so now my team can work the business without me being in it. Sometimes they're like, Miss Q, I got it. Miss Q. So
It also gives faith in your team as well. Being able to say, okay, I'm going to step back for a few days. And
I know,
see
but
how
it's
you guys
like
do.
my big baby. So
That's
it's
true.
just like sometimes I still just want to be in the midst. That's why I need another one, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Going back to your menu real quick, how has that evolved over the 7 years that you've been cooking food professionally?
That's a good chuckle.
Because I just thought about like how the pictures used to look from the beginning to now.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So it's evolved a lot.
So social media has played a huge role in that too.
Oh, yeah. So I used to post all my pictures. Matter of fact, that's how I met my husband. I was tagging him because we had a mutual friend, and like I would start tagging him in my pictures, and he's like, "Let me just go up to this restaurant."
Wow. Was that intentional? Okay.
Yeah.
I love that.
That is awesome.
Look what I can make.
And when he came, I made like this big, huge plate. And so that's how that happened.
Okay.
So what's your favorite thing on your menu?
On the fried lobster tail.
Fried lobster tail.
Our fried
And
lobster.
do you have the same thing? Because you are dealing with seafood, so I have to imagine some of stuff is seasonal.
I say like there's sometimes when we can't do our garlic crab fries and people get really upset about that. They dry.
Garlic crab fries?
Yeah, so our garlic crab fries with blue crab claw meat, and garlic aioli sauce, our crab seasoning. We sell
Keep talking.
we sell our own seafood seasoning as well. My mom has always done I remember when I started doing seafood and she was like, I wanted to use there's a lady that named Mrs. Apples that has a blue crab little shack in Merritt Island. And I was like, let me just use her butter. My mom was like, no, do your own, create your own sauce, so it can be yours. And I'm glad I did listen because now I have my own individual sauce that I like to make.
And merch.
And merch. Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's been a amazing journey. I do have one of our employees that, you find employees that I can't say really like, but, you do. And we have one that followed my footsteps and has left and become an entrepreneur. I have multiple ones that have done that already.
That is amazing.
And in 3 years, yeah.
And probably so many more coming from the restaurant.
I think I've myself before getting into this field, I worked as a restaurant hostess and server at this guy's restaurant, and he had 5 daughters, and he's still open his pizza gallery at in Vieira, and we've had multiple restaurant owners come from him. So it's
nice.
A cool thing to kind of
A
continue.
legacy.
Yeah.
Well, Q Breadwood, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
We wish you nothing but the best. Summer season getting in full swing now. We know your place is going to be packed, all 50 seats full every
Grab your
single day.
bikinis and
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank
Love
you.
it.
Thank you, ladies, for having me.
And good luck with the dancing.
Thank you. And if you're ever in the area, please stop in. I would love to take care of you.
Oh, we will.
Oh, yeah.
That's a guarantee. Yeah.
For sure. No problem.
Don't forget, you can get more Florida Foodie anytime you want in the free News 6 Plus app for your smart TV.